Well-placed wards can play a pivotal role in setting yourself up for success. Wards will give you the information you need to know where the enemies are and where they are not. This guide will offer insight into what situations you might want to ward around bottom lane throughout a game. When the game starts, you will only start with your trinket ward. It is important to make use of it early to collect information about the enemy jungler's starting position. If you are on blue side, you should consider placing it near the enemy gromp to gain information on the enemy jungler's starting point. If they are defending the river entrance, you can pressure them back with the help of your team if you have a numbers advantage. Alternatively, if they have a strong level 1 with champions such as Morgana or Blitz, you can instead place your ward defensively by placing it in the dragon side island bush or your bottom tri-bush to defend against a potential invade. If you're on red side and you have a numbers advantage, consider placing a ward in the bush near the enemy's red buff, in their tri-bush, or near the enemy krugs to get information on the enemy jungler's path. These locations give you the most information in the earliest parts of the game and can help your team keep track of the enemy jungler's clearing path and ganking path. If you are playing support, you will usually want to pick up a sight zone on your first trip back to base. Sight zone allows you to hold a charge of 4 wards that gets refreshed whenever you go back to the shop. These wards each last for 3 minutes and you can place up to 3 on the map at the same time. Once the laning phase begins, if the enemy support is frequently entering the lane bush to harass you, it is a good plan to keep it warded. This will also protect you from lane ganks. If you're on the blue side, another important area to ward during the laning phase is the ramp near dragon. It will give you vision of a mid laner's roam or a jungler's incoming gank. Against certain junglers such as Jarvan or Lee Sin, you might want to ward the river bush closest to bot lane because they can both jump into the bush from over the wall and avoid wards around the dragon ramp. If you are being pressured under your turret, then ward the tri-bush to give you advanced warning of ganks or incoming turret dives. If you are on red side, an important area to ward during the laning phase is the enemy's tri-bush as well as the island bush near dragon. These will give you vision of a mid laner's roam or a jungler's incoming gank. If you are being pushed under your turret and the turret is low, it would be a good idea to ward your tri-bush. At the end of the laning phase, the tier 1 turrets will fall, and your warding strategy will change. The goal in the mid game will be to either apply pressure to the tier 2 turrets or to defend them. It is important to ward the areas around the tier 2 turrets to successfully achieve these objectives. If you are blue side and you are defending your tier 2 turret, you'll want to ward the bush across from the red bush and the bush across from krugs. Ideally, you'd also ward the tri-bush and the bush behind red buff, but it can be risky to place these wards without advanced vision or support from your team. If you are blue side and pushing their tier 2 turret, you'll need to ward the crossroads to get immediate vision of any rotations. You can also ward behind the turret and the jungle entry near wolves to get advanced vision of any rotations. Only consider these deep wards if you have vision of the team already or if you have the support of your own team. If you are red side and you are defending your tier 2 turret, you'll want to ward the blue buff bush and either the crossroads or the bush behind wolves. This will ensure vision of your blue buff and any rotations. If you are red side and you are pushing their tier 2 turret, you'll want to ward the bush in front of red buff and the one behind red buff. If you have support of your team, you can consider a deep ward behind their turret to get vision of rotations. As you look to pressure or defend the inhibitor turret, warding will be important to know if they're going to dive you or if they're just going to siege. If you're blue side and you're defending your bot lane turret, ward immediately over the wall and the closest bush in your jungle. If you can, consider warding over the jungle wall as well. If you are blue side and you are pressuring their inhibitor turret, consider warding over the wall to get vision of the enemy's defenses and to help you poke as you siege. Also consider warding the path in front of the wall to get vision of a rotation. If you are red side and you're defending, you'll want to ward the crossroad in front of your wall and in lane in front of your turret. If you are red side and you are pressuring the inhibitor turret, you'll want to place a ward over their wall and in their jungle entrance bush. You'll want to make sure to place the ward in the middle of the bush to get vision of both paths. It is every player's responsibility to help their team place wards and get vision, and then to protect that vision whenever possible. With the addition of trinkets and the ability to upgrade them, players now have no excuse for a lack of warding. Use these tips in your game to give yourself a significant edge in your lane.